I'm Mili Srivastava from IT Department, Akgec Engineering College, Ghaziabad. And today I'm going to discuss about NIST Cloud Computing Reference Architecture. So first of all, what are the requirements of NIST Cloud Computing Architecture, why it is needed, and why it perform basic and useful role in cloud computing system. So in template of reference architecture, basically NIST Cloud Computing Reference Architecture is a conceptual framework which is developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technologies, NIST, that is known as NIST. And with the help of this standards, they provide a standard and comprehensive understanding of cloud computing. And it also defines basic key roles like components and interaction between cloud environments. So with the help of NIST reference architecture, which is developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and by this architecture, we can communicate or interact between cloud environments. So, next. Basically, NIST model enhances or comprises with these 3 or 4 deployment models, which I already discussed in my previous lecture, that is public, private, hybrid and community clouds. Basically, these are deployment models or types of cloud computing in which cloud computing architecture or whatever we required in cloud computing, it is basically based on these deployment model. First is public, second is private, community and hybrid. There are 4 types of cloud computing. In public cloud computing, same infrastructure used by many users over the public network, which is open for all public, and we can access data or documents from anytime, anywhere with the help of public cloud architecture. And in case of private, this type of cloud architecture, private cloud architecture, basically used or created by developers and exclusively access to specific end users, and which is grouped by developers, group of developer who use this type of private cloud architecture. And in case of community cloud architecture, access to group of users which are similar concern, which are having same concern or same ambiguities or same problems, they can share with the community architecture. Now hybrid, 4 type of cloud type is combined offering. Basically, this is hybrid cloud computing is a combination of public and private. So with the help of hybrid cloud computing, we can access both public and private. An example of this hybrid cloud computing, that is railway system. In case of railway system, there is some parts of public which is access to anyone and anywhere, and there are some part which is also private for private users only. Only those they can access that group of information, that part of information that they required. Now, this is basically NIST reference architecture, which is helpful in the types and deployments of cloud computing or cloud computing environment also. And basically, NIST identifies 5 major actors in the cloud computing ecosystem. That is, we all know that the cloud consumer, cloud auditor, cloud provider, cloud broker and the cloud carrier. Basically, there are 5 major actors in the cloud computing reference architecture. So, first is cloud consumer. Who are cloud consumer? Basically, cloud consumer, the entity that uses cloud services, and consumer interacts with the cloud providers based on service level agreements. There, suppose there is a service, cloud service, and which is accessed by only those who can access or take agreement of this particular type of cloud. So, this is basically entity that use cloud services. Basically, there are different types of cloud services that can access by based on public, private, hybrid and community. So, consumers interact with the cloud providers and based which is also based on the service level agreements. Now, Next is cloud consumers browses the services catalogs of the providers, request services depending on activities, user scenario based on that particular services, and set up services contracts with the providers, SLAs to specify their consumer needs, whatever consumer required, they which is based on SLAs, and basically there is so many examples we can take, like uh, individuals, business, government agencies, and there are so many cases of which is act as a cloud consumer like us, and any developer and any person who wants to access that particular service which is provided by cloud provider. Now maybe build for the service, and there is some application or services of cloud computing which is based on like software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service. And in case of software as a service, they provides only software and we can access that software accordingly, cloud provider. So there is no any issue in case of software as a service. It is less in less expensive in comparison of IaaS and PS, or IaaS and PaaS. So it is also based on uh, build for the services. They are all the services having different amount of charge, amount will be charged for that particular services, and IaaS, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service which provides consumer may be billed accordingly to processing, storage, network resources, numbers of virtual machines, how many virtual machine, which kind of virtual machine they provide, they used, and so many things, bandwidth, storage, volume, so many things which is based on billing, etc. Now what is service level agreement? Basically, service level agreement is a contract in between cloud consumer and cloud provider. That is, contracts that are negotiated and agreed between provider and consumer. And basically, the motive of this architecture to secure or save that agreement, to ensure that agreement, that is known as service level agreement, which is works in between cloud consumer and cloud provider. Now, to guarantee an agreement SLA, the auditor must be capable of measuring and monitoring relevant matrices. Like there are so many cases of frauds also. So, in between how cloud consumer or cloud provider works and NIST model, basically cloud auditor and cloud career and cloud broker, they are basically working in between cloud consumer and cloud providing to protect, to ensure service level agreements which is ensured by cloud consumer to cloud provider to cloud consumer. Now there are some contents, this is also depends on what kind of services cloud consumer required. So there are some basic level objectives like roles and responsibilities, requirements, operational policies, what are the policies they are given, and ensure that they are given that policies in sequential form or whatever consumer required, and operation policies, continuity, limitation, financials, and glossary of terms, resources, and these responsibility and these contents of SLA, which is based on business level objectives, that provides business level objectives. And in case of service level objectives, they provide resources, performance indicators, service deployment, service management, description, security, privacy, etc. So in this case, when we or any consumer required any type of virtual machine, which is because we know that with the help of software like hypervisor, we can convert, or cloud providers convert that particular hardware into different software, into different virtual machines, and they all are dependent to each other. Suppose this is our hardware, and with the help of this software, we can convert that hardware into different VMs. that is VM1, VM2, VM3 and VM4, and they all are independent to each other. Like they have different operating system, they have different softwares that particularly different APIs that particular consumer wants or required. So these are some basic contents of SLA which is required in cloud computing and IST architecture. Now there are some examples of cloud services like application platform, infrastructure and cloud computing. This is basically based on what these are some cloud services which is provided by cloud providers, and laptops, phones and tablets, desktops, servers. These are basically hardware, or we can say that platforms by which we can use the services of cloud computing. Now next is cloud provider. Who are cloud provider, and what are the basic roles of cloud provider? Basically, whoever provide the services of cloud known as cloud provider. So acquires and manage the computing infrastructure. Basically, some forms of some types of cloud computing models, they provide infrastructure also and provide each and everything which is based on whatever user required. Now runs and cloud software makes services available to interested parties, make arrangements, contracts with consumers, may also list SLAs, obligations and consumers which are provided or accepted by consumer also. So basically, cloud provider is the entity or responsible for making the cloud services available, whatever the services they are make to give to services pass through the user. Now provides different cloud models with the help of these type of contents. They provide infrastructure as a service, platform as a service and software as a service. These services are differently provided by cloud providers, and in case of infrastructure as a service which is provided by cloud, all the services are provided by cloud provider, and in case of infrastructure as a service, they also provide an infrastructure. And basically in terms of, we can say that in terms of compute, storage and network resources, example AWS, EC2 or Google compute engine, these are basically example of infrastructure as a service. In case of infrastructure as a service, cloud providers provide virtual machine, different virtual machines which is converted by the software, that is hypervisor, and there is some basic hardware, and with the help of that software they can convert that hardware into different virtual machine, VM1, VM2, VM3, and by which we can provide that virtual machine to the different users that they needed or required. Now, what are the basic responsibilities of cloud provider? That is service deployment, cloud service management, security, privacy, and orchestration. So, in case they are similar work in case of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service and software as a service. And in case of platform as a service, development platform and runtime environment like Google App Engine, Microsoft Azure, they are basically provide they are cloud provider and basically provide like a platform as a service. And in case of software as a service, basically function software application like software as a service, they provide simply a software and we can access the services of that software. We can't interrupt any of the like software or whatever we required. We can't interrupt or modify any of the software. Like functional, only they allow the functional that software application, example Gmail, Microsoft 365, whatever Google App Engines we required, that with the help of that we use that particular pages. Now, these are some responsibilities of cloud provider. Next, what are the scope of control of cloud provider? That is application layer. In terms of application layer, basically it works as an end user apps and services used by SaaS consumers, installed, managed by PaaS consumer and SaaS providers. So, in it is also works in works as a middleware layer, that is VM layer, virtual machine layer. And I already discussed that there is some hardware and with the help of some software like hypervisor, cloud providers different that hardware into different, with the help of that software, different virtual, they can convert that hardware into different virtual machine like VM1, VM2, VM3 and VM4. And by conversion of this or broker of this, they provide a different virtual machine. They all are independent to each other. Like they have different operating system, they have different APIs, they have different software. So basically this is the basic role of cloud provider. Now, so basically what we studied in scope of cloud provider, basically help in service selections, cost optimization and customization. And there are some functions which is also included in cloud provider system, that is aggregation. Aggregation means what? Like aggregation means combining services from multiple providers. There are so many providers which can provide their services with case of aggregation, and that term or that policy is known as aggregation. And abbreviate in case of arbitrage, that choosing that particular service dynamically based on cost or performance. What is the meaning of dynamically based on cost and performance? It also shows the concept of scalability. And we all know that very well that service of cloud is very much scalable also. So in case of cloud auditor, basically they perform independent examination of cloud services, and they can audit all the system, all the files in case of rapidly manner. Now, the basic role of cloud auditor is that independent entity. Cloud auditor works as a third party, or this is an independent entity that access cloud services performance, security and compliances also. And basically they evaluate policies, risk management and regulatory compliances also. And with the help of cloud auditor, we can cloud provider assure the services or documents of service level agreements, that is SLAs. Next, cloud broker. Who are cloud broker and why? Integration of cloud services by consumer can be too complex and can be requested by other parties. So cloud broker basically acts as an intermediary between cloud consumer and provider. In diagram we can also see that broker cloud broker works or acts as an intermediary between cloud consumer and cloud provider. With the like in real life brokers, they also works like the same. So an entity service operated by the providers or third party provides services in the three forms, basically intermediation, aggregation and arbitrage. So cloud broker acts as an intermediary between cloud consumer and providers and helps in service selection. What kind of service? With the help of cloud broker we can also this is also helpful in the service selection, cost optimization and customization. Now there are some functions also include, that is aggregation and arbitrage. So what is aggregation and arbitrage? Basically aggregation is a combining services from multiple providers, and that term that particular term works as a same or individual entity in cloud computing reference architecture. Now in case of arbitrage, the services being aggregated may change or come from different providers, or we can say that choosing service dynamically based on the cloud based on the cost or performance, whatever we required. Now you can see that there are two cloud providers and cloud consumer, and cloud broker basically helps in the selection of what kind of service we require. Then in case of service selection and cost optimization and customization, with the help of cloud broker, a consumer or any cloud consumer choose right service which is provided by cloud provider. So how interaction occurs in between actors? There are cloud consumer, cloud auditor, cloud provider, and cloud broker. They all are actor of Nist reference architecture, cloud carrier also. So how they work? The communication path between a cloud provider and a cloud consumer, which is also goes from cloud broker and cloud auditor. So this is basically a diagram of interaction between actors, how actors works in between like cloud consumer, auditor, broker, provider, how they works or communicate between each other. Now next is cloud carrier. What is cloud carrier, and what is the requirement of cloud carrier? So basically cloud carrier acts as an intermediary that provides connectivity and transport of cloud services between cloud consumer and cloud provider. So cloud carrier basically works like a transport in between cloud consumer and cloud provider, and it provides connectivity and transport also. So basically with the help of service, what kind of service primarily falls under the responsibility of cloud provider? This is depend on the resources, what kind of resources managing and computing, storage and networking resources that are managing by the cloud service architecture. So this is a diagram of service orchestration, or basically managing with the help of this diagram or this service provider. We can basically manage computing, storage and network resources. Three things that is computer basically managed by these, that this is hardware and physical resource layer, and with the help of that resource abstractions or control layer that manages computing, storage and networking resources. What kind of resources they provide? That is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service and software as a service. So we can say that in service management, NIST cloud reference or architecture plays very useful and important role in cloud computing model, and basically it handling services deployment, monitoring and scaling also, and with the help of it also helpful in workload management, how we can ensure optimal performance of applications and workloads. This is also very important in cloud computing management, how we can manage that time period or ensure optimal performance of applications also. Now so this is all about NIST reference cloud computing architecture. Thank you.